This morning it's time to do prunus mume cuttings, and I'm going to just make a short video on how I deal with that. So we use dip and grow for our rooting agent. We prepare the soil, which I did already this morning, and because we're using a liquid rooting hormone, you cannot water the cuttings after they're done. After you've cut them, after they've been dipped in the root hormone, and then they go in the soil. You cannot water them for another 24 hours or so after they go in the soil. So you have to water the soil beforehand, which I've done. So I spent this morning, I filled up all of these band pots, and we prefer band pots over most any other kind of pot with soil. And the reason for that is that the roots tend to grow down and stop rather than start swirling around the bottom of the pot. And that means that when I transplant these next year at this time, I'm not cutting off a huge amount of root that the plant has wasted all this energy developing. I'm just going to pull them out of the pot. They're going to be perfect. They go right into another pot with very little root pruning. So I've sorted out all of the Beni Chidoris. That's what I'm doing this morning. And then I'm just going to take cuttings. I put the cuttings into a dry container, which I've cleaned. And then also my cutters I have cleaned. But this is what the branch looks like, and hopefully it will come into focus. But all of these little bumps on the side are buds, probably flowering buds at this point. And I need to have at least 3 of those to make a cutting. In this case, I'm probably going to cut down to here, which looks like about 5. And that's all that you do. I cut at an angle, kind of like this, because it gives more surface area there for the rooting hormone to do its job. So I'm going to get to cutting, and then I'll show you that next. All right, so I have made my Beni Chidori cuttings. I keep them at an angle so that they don't fall down. And that's so that I don't have to go through and worry about which end is the up and which is the down. So mume buds point upwards towards the top, which makes this the bottom and this the top. They go into the hormone solution for about 5 seconds, and then into a prepared little divot. I use a piece of bamboo, and I just go through and I make all the divots at one time. And this is so that I don't have to force the cutting down into the soil, which can cause the cutting to break, and it rubs off the hormone. So I want them to have a prepared hole so they just sit in there and the hormone can do its job. All right, and then this is what they look like when they're done. And I will stop back by when I get more done.